Have you ever watched someone walk into a room full of strangers, and within minutes, they're laughing, sharing stories, making plans, like it's the easiest thing in the world? And then there are people who stand in that same room and feel completely invisible. Not because they don't want to connect, but because something happens right before they open their mouth. A pause, a doubt, a quiet voice that says, "What if I say the wrong thing?" And so the moment passes. They smile. They step a little to the side. And on the way home, they replay it all in their head, every conversation they almost had. If that sounds familiar, what's actually happening inside that moment is not what most people think. Most people who struggle to make friends believe one thing: that something is wrong with them, that other people have something they don't, some ease, some confidence, some quality they were never given. And the world often makes it worse. "You're so quiet. You're hard to read. Why are you so serious?" Even though on the inside, they feel everything. But psychology tells a different story. This isn't a flaw. It's a pattern. And patterns have reasons. And when you understand the real reason, not the one people assume but what's actually happening in the brain, everything starts to look different. Their brain isn't broken. It's just working way too hard. While most people move through a conversation naturally, this person is running a completely different process. Reading expressions, monitoring their own tone, measuring how the last sentence landed, preparing what to say next, while still responding to the present moment. Psychologists call it hyper-self-monitoring. In simple terms, instead of being in the conversation, they're watching it from the outside. And the worst part? They know it's happening, and they can't stop it. Now here's where it gets interesting. This doesn't come from nowhere. It usually starts with one moment. Something that happened early, sometimes so early they don't even remember it clearly. A friendship that ended with no explanation. A room that went quiet after they spoke. A moment where opening up didn't go the way they hoped. The brain remembers. And from that point on, every social situation activates the same quiet alarm. Be careful. This could hurt. What people see as shyness is usually just a defense system doing exactly what it was trained to do. But that's only part of it. Because there's something else going on. Something that makes this pattern much harder to break than most people realize. Here's what nobody talks about. People who struggle to make friends don't want less connection. They want more. They're not interested in small talk. Not because they're cold, but because small talk feels like standing at the door of something real and never being let in. They want to know what someone actually thinks, what they're afraid of, what they care about most. But to get there, you have to get through the beginning. And the beginning is exactly where it falls apart. So they stay quiet in groups. They wait too long to reach out. They tell themselves the other person probably isn't interested anyway. And people misread all of it. The silence looks like arrogance. The waiting looks like indifference. The depth looks like intensity. And intensity pushes people away before anything real can begin. So they pull back. The distance grows. And the loneliness gets harder to explain even to themselves. Because it doesn't come from not caring. It comes from caring too much. And not knowing what to do with that. And here's the part that might surprise you. What actually changes this has nothing to do with getting better at conversation. Most advice sounds the same. Speak up more. Put yourself out there. Just be confident. But for someone whose brain is running that alarm system on repeat, that advice doesn't help. It only confirms what they already fear, that the problem is them. What actually changes things is quieter than that. It starts with understanding why the alarm keeps going off. Not fighting it. Not ignoring it. Understanding it. And slowly teaching the brain something new. That not every silence means rejection. That not every person is looking for a reason to walk away. That it's possible to be in a conversation without performing one. This doesn't happen all at once. It happens in small moments. One person who doesn't need you to be more than you are. One place where depth is welcome. One conversation where you didn't have to prepare, you just talked. And something shifts. The voice gets quieter. The hesitation gets shorter. And the connection that always felt just out of reach starts to feel possible. Remember that person at the beginning, standing a little to the side, replaying conversations that never happened. They're not missing something everyone else has. They learned somewhere along the way that connection can hurt, that trust is something you build carefully or not at all. That's not a flaw. That's a history. And understanding that history is usually where everything starts to change. Not all at once, but enough.